79 Super Team Championship. Well, with us here at Eastleigh near Southampton are two teams of famous sportsmen, 9 international footballers and 9 international athletes. Between them, well, they've won a host of cup, caps, medals and other world honours. And here, over the next 2 days, they're going to be meeting in 8 team events. And I can tell you that there's more than just a hint of rivalry around here already. Well, Barry Davis is with the footballers, with the athletes, Ron Pickering.
Well, our athletes are all internationals and no less than 4 Commonwealth champions amongst them, and they're raring to go.
The footballers are a team of internationals drawn from 7 clubs. We've got 1 Scotsman, 1 Welshman and 7 Englishmen.
So let's meet those two teams. First of all, the athletes introduced to us and the audience here in the Fleming Park Sports Centre by Ron Pickering.
Britain's greatest ever shot putter, a familiar giant, Geoffrey Capes. International hammer thrower, Jim Whitehead. British record holder at pole vault, Brian Hooper. International sprinter and comedian, Stevie Green. Wales' Commonwealth champion at 110 metres hurdles, Berwyn Price. International 5,000 metre star, Nick Rose. International pole vaulter, Alan Williams. The Commonwealth triple jump champion, Keith Connor. And multi-talented superstar, Commonwealth decathlon champion, Daley Thompson.
And to face that lineup, Barry Davis brings on the footballers.
And their familiar names, from Merseyside to Southampton, from West Bromwich to Cardiff, worth currently in excess of £4 million on the transfer market. Footballers, of course, used to competing as a team, and we've got a nice balance of physique and technique in our super team. As the captain, we have a man who's used to doing the job for Everton, Mick Lyons. Next to him is his club colleague, who's now broken into the Scotland team, and he's George Wood. The Welshman comes from Cardiff City, and his name is Phil Dwyer. Another defender has had the shortest journey to make, but he comes from Southampton and is, of course, David Preach. Next, the man with a unique record of an FA Cup winners' medal with 2 clubs in consecutive seasons. From Arsenal, Brian Talbot. We really have a fine midfield, because next to him is Mr. Perpetual Motion at Goodison Park, Andy King. On the left side of the midfield is the captain of the England under-21 side, transferred to West Bromwich Albion in the close season, Gary Owen. Up front, one of the cheeky champions of the game, now recovered from a bad leg injury, Gordon Hill of Derby County. Finally, the man who's come home to Southampton. His football future is interesting a number of clubs at the moment, and that's no surprise, because his name is Mike Shannon. So that's our super team, internationals all.
And for those 18 international names of football and athletics, there are 8 team events spread over the next 2 days. In the Fleming Park Outdoor Arena, the obstacle course and the climax will be here as well, with the tug of war. On the morning of day 1, this public road just outside the centre is cleared to all traffic for the cycle race. And the event that quite a few stars are worried about, the 4-man canoeing, takes us down to Fairthorne Manor. There's basketball, shooting and table tennis back at the centre, which is where this Super Teams now begins with Ron Pickering.
We start with swimming, and it's a team relay race. First swimmer goes 2 lengths of the pool freestyle. The second swimmer 1 length of breaststroke. The third swimmer 1 length of breaststroke, and we finish with 2 lengths of freestyle.
Brian Talbot on the left, but the lead-off man is Phil Dwyer of Cardiff City. He does 2 lengths, and then there's the 2 single lengths of breaststroke, and then 2 lengths again to finish.
On your blocks.
Come on! Jim Whitehead on the left, big fella, hammer thrower.
Take your mark.
Teacher. And a tremendous dive off by the pair of them, and Jim Whitehead started well. Phil Dwyer just perceptibly behind him, but they're both going neck and neck. The turn will be all important now. Oh, and Jim stops to touch twice, and Phil Dwyer himself hesitated, and still they're locked together. Well, Jim Whitehead not running out of steam, as Jeff Capes predicted, And he's forged ahead now by about 1.5 yards, and that's been a good swim over 2 lengths. Very good. Brian Hooper in for his 1-length breaststroke. And George Wood the other side, all 6'4" of him. And his longer stroke is closing that gap all the time. There it is, it's reduced to about 1/2 yard now. Brian Hooper under pressure. And that's been a tough one, and his pole vault partner, Alan Williams, trying now to hold off Mike Shannon. And this could not have been closer, because on last leg, the footballers have a very good swimmer in Brian Talbot, and Daley Thompson is untried and untested. Locked together. Daley Thompson has to make up 1 yard, but Talbot's already thrashing down the pool. And we saw him in Team Superstars last year, and he really swam well then, and he's swimming well now. But this is not a bad effort by Daley Thompson. Head out of the water. A long pause, and he goes again. Gets his head down this time. You don't see too many black swimmers, and you certainly don't see too many black athletes who can swim, but that's been a good effort. They'll lose out by 1.5 yards because of that tremendous swim from Brian Talbot, but that's a fine effort from Daley Thompson. But the points go to the footballers after what was a very good race indeed. 3-1 to the footballers.
Well, the road running alongside the Fairfield Centre is Passfield Avenue, which, with the help of the local police, has just been closed to traffic. For Superteams Event 2, that's the cycling. And what started off as, well, just another morning for the residents has suddenly taken a rather different turn. And it's certainly producing a few unusual sights. Well, there's certainly none more unusual than one which has caused these little two to suddenly go in and shout, "Mum, come and take a look at this." Because just outside her garden gate is probably the biggest man she's ever seen in her life, and he's sitting on a bicycle. It is, in fact, the 31-inch thighs of 23-stone Jeff Capes about to race against goalkeeper George Wood.
You're going to have to do about 40 seconds, I think, down here to sort of get into the points. It's a long way.
I'm going Jeff Slipstream.
See if you get there.
On your mark.
And away they go, and it's 400 metres, 4 two-man heats, and the athletes already one up because Daley Thompson has beaten little Gordon Hill, and there's George Wood on the inside, and big Jeff Capes pretty upright. There's a lot of wind resistance there. Remember, George Wood said he was going to tuck in behind, but he's going for broke at the moment. No, and my goodness, they came very close there, and Capes still upright but pedalling well. 400 metres the whole distance up this normal road, and Capes in the lead now, and George Wood has tucked in behind. Capes not bent arms, sitting very upright indeed, 23 stones on that bike, and George Wood is dropping just a little bit further back, and Capes is still going, the big legs pounding away, and the athletes, remember, one up already. 4 heats, head-to-head racing, and it looks like Capes is going to take this. There he goes, the athletes' captain beats the goalkeeper George Wood in this second heat of the cycling, and that's put them in a very strong position indeed. So the athletes leading 2 heats to 0 against the footballers. Remember, Daley Thompson having beaten Gordon Hill, and the footballers have got to win the next one to stand any chance of the event. And the athletes, in fact, have this man, Keith Connor, taking part. The Commonwealth Games triple jump gold medalist, and he takes part against Mike Shannon.
On your mark.
So Mike Shannon in white, nearest us. The race he has to win to keep the footballers in with a hope in this cycling event. Keith Connor, born in the West Indies, started his career as a sprinter in this country. Good basketball player as well, could come in handy, and oh my goodness, look at the gap. He's opened up already. Good bike riding position, low body, the knees coming up to the chest, spearheading his way through up this track. Shannon behind him, trying to get a little bit of pull from the slipstream, but he's dropping further and further back. And Slannon no slouch, as we know, but he's not going to catch him. And Keith Connor really going now. It's going to be 3-0 to the athletes in the bike race. Looks over his shoulder, and he's got it. Thompson wins, Capes wins, and Connor's won as well. Shannon, no real chance at all after about the first 40 metres to get in touch with this athlete, who rode that bike superbly. The good high knee action, the legs serving him well, as they did in the Commonwealth Games in Edmonton exactly 12 months ago.
The leader in the triple jump. For England, 20-year-old Keith Connor, And his lead in the second round, a magnificent 16 metres 76, a new United Kingdom record of 55 feet exactly. That's another thumping good jump.
And one that brought Keith Connor the gold medal. But back here at Eastleigh now, the last cycle race, and the footballers are dreading a 4-0 whitewash.
On your mark.
And it's Andy King for the footballers on the inside. Steve Green, the sprinter, on the left of your pictures. You look at them now head on. And Andy King was by far the most impressive bike rider in that all-football Super Teams, Everton versus Ipswich. And already going way out in the lead. Football determined to pull at least one heat out of the cycling. They can't get the points, but it's a psychological race, this. A lot of events to go, and they're about to prove they're worthy contenders for this competition against the athletes. Steve Green got quite a way to go. Andy King powering ahead now. All of a sudden, Green is coming up. Now look at this, head down, determined look, and I think Andy King is gone and Steve Green is overtaken. He was 4 lengths behind, and he's going to win it. Steve Green is going to make it 4-0 for the athletes in the cycling, and that will hurt the footballers. Andy King was certainly on the cards, the 4-man for that, but he lost it all.
And Parsfield Avenue returns to something like normal. The athletes cock a hoop at their clean sweep in the cycling, but despite the fact it was a 4-0 whitewash, it still only scores them 3-1 and scores a level of 4-all.
Well, after their disappointment in the cycling, there's an immediate chance for the footballers to bounce back in the third event, the table tennis. It's always been a key event to teach players to keep their eye on the ball. And I can tell you from going around the country that a table tennis table is standard equipment at most training grounds. And in the opening doubles, it told with Andy King 16, and David 18. Peach comfortably beating Jeff Capes and Berwin Price. But then Daley Thompson levelled the series with a 21-14 win over Brian Talbot. So it's all on the last doubles. Gordon Hill and Gary Owen against Keith Connor and Nick Rose. And what a battle. No more than a point in it until from 16 all, the footballers inch their way to a winning position.
20-17.
So Gordon Hill at the far end to serve match point to the footballers.
20-18.
Gary Owen a little bit anxious then to put it away. One saved. And they've saved another.
19.
A bit wild, the West Bromwich Albion midfield player. Yeah! And real team spirit from the athletics bench as they pull back to 20 all.
Let 20 all.
Sign of the tension showing on Jeff Capes' face as well as on Keith Connor, who served the let.
20-21, Owen.
Come to match point.
21
but can't take it.
Rose.
Daley Thompson all smiles and the sweat on his brow apparently. Got it right that time, Gary Owen. So the footballers again match point.
Let.
Another let.
22-21.
Pace is telling it all. Keith Connor not getting that right, so the footballers do it in the end. My heaven, they really had to battle for it. They get the 3 points, so that's the position after 3 events.
4 men in, 4 athletes against them. Each man has 5 shots, and it's total scores to count.
And here in the climax of this event, there's just 1 man on each side to finish shooting. This is Jim Whitehead, the big hammer throw. He's already scored an 8 and a 9 over the 18-metre distance. That gives the athletes a running score of 126, 11 ahead of the footballers. Whitehead, third shot, 8 and 9 showing there on the target. Oh, that's good. He'd like it, but he'll settle for 10, 136 their total now. 2 shots left.
9. Yes, Jim!
Yes, that gives Whitehead 36 and 4 shots. The athletes 1 4 5. 1 shot to go. Remember, the footballers have 1 man to shoot, 5 shots. In the same hole.
9.
Good shooting by Whitehead.
Jim Whitehead, total score 45.
So the athletes have finished. They've put the pressure now on the footballers because the athletes have 1-5-4, the footballers 1-1-5. So they wait for the last
Phil
footballer.
Dwyer.
And there he is announced, Phil Dwyer. Didn't do too well in practice. And he's now got to score 40 in 5 shots to give the footballers victory. Mick Lyons, their captain, who had a 34. He missed the target at 1 shot altogether. 31 needed to win. And there's some tension on here, I can tell you. Now that shot's going to be looked at. If it cuts the line, the higher score counts. It's an 8 or a 9.
8.
8 given. Oh, they're a bit disappointed. But that means they have 23 needed now to win in 3 shots. That's only 7 short of a maximum. All resting on Phil Dwyer. Cardiff City, not the quickest man around a football field, but that doesn't matter here. He's got to be rock steady. Oh, that's bad. Six, and that's given them a big target now. 2 shots left, 17 to win. Oh, the athletes are saying we've got it, but have they? Shot 4 out of the 5. And footballer shot 8, the athlete shot 7.
8.
8 is given. 8 is given, and Capes was hoping it was a 7. Now, a 9 will do it. Yes! Bullseye to win. And you'd think it was a cup final. Look at it. The footballers' 3rd event, so it's football now leading by 4 points. Football 10, athletics 6, and the big team game to come.
Jeffrey, having lost the table tennis and the archery, is this the big breakback? Is it basketball that the athletes get back on top?
Oh, I think so. We got 1 or 2 extra special athletes in this one with Connors and Daly on the wings, you know.
Reckon?
I'm stopper. Yeah. Me and Big Jim Whitehead are stoppers, but let's face it, the earlier events were a bit soft, you know, and there are more individual things, and but we're going to be ready for them, I think.
Well, the footballers generally play together as a team. The athletes are all individuals. Do you think that's going to help the footballers?
Well, probably, but you know, when you look around, I mean, I think the smallest one is Hooper, but you watch 1 or 2 of us guys, we're about 6'5" and 6'6", so that's the proper height for basketball. But I don't know about the rules of the game, but well, they'll be complied to.
Is it going to get physical?
I reckon it's going to get damn physical, but
sure.
I think all in all, I think it'll be played well, and everybody will enjoy the game. But I think 1 or 2 of the obvious fouls has got to come in. I mean, crikey, can you imagine one little guy coming trying to get the ball off me?
Right.
And you're going to go straight into me, isn't it?
A lot of spirit, but good spirit.
I think good spirit.
Okay, wish you luck. Well done.
Well, in fact, the spirit deteriorated from the word go, and it became a very physical affair. The soccer players, much more used to physical knocks in their team game, rattled the athletes badly from the word go. And the football players, quick on the break. Here's George Wood scoring the first 2 points in the first half. And really, the athletes got unnerved. Steve Asinder has been coaching the football players. That's our Basketball Player of the Year. And his teamwork and organisation, as well as 1 or 2 off-the-ball incidents, very much rattled the athletes. Look for the physical contact. Here, George Wood backs into Jeff Capes. Capes appeals and over-appeals, waits for the referee to do something about it. But look at that. Shannon has barged into the stopper and totally upended him. Here's the backing in, surely due to lack of skill. Capes appeals and is waiting for the referee to react. The shot at basket, but watch this. Shannon, who really is so bold and so skillful on the ball, doesn't need to be so off the ball.
Number 5, McFarlane. Good run from the back by the big man. Shannon. Yes! 1-0.
The footballers, it seems, under instructions to rattle Capes, who they know will overreact to any physical situation. But they certainly use their team organisation very much better. Here's another piece of physical contact. It's a run-in by George Woods. George pushes him off, and there's the overreaction again, which is certainly uncalled for. And they're sorting the big fella out, and they could have him fouled off. However, he has the sense to apologise, and rightly so. Cinder there says, keep it cool, keep possession, and you'll keep them rattled and win the game. Last moments of the first half, looking for a long ball now. There's a breakaway, another interception. It's Mick Lyons on the left. Ball goes in as the whistle goes, and the footballers finish up 4-0 at the end of the first half.
Well, the atmosphere with the footballers at half-time is very much that of giant kidders in a cup competition. Nobody gave them a chance, and here they are, 4-0 up. Definitely stung, I think, by being written off. Everybody keen to talk, everybody keen to listen to Steve Cinder, the coach, and their attitude in marked contrast with that of the athletes, who are clearly very dejected, disappointed.
More confidence in the hand.
And they're not going to let the victim go, the footballers. So how's it going to work out in the second half? Well, let's find out now with the commentator, Ron Pickering.
Well, tremendous tension on court. The soccer players certainly finding the gaps. The athletes finding trouble. Geoffrey Capes on the bench. Berwyn Price, no, loses possession. Andy King finds Brian Talbot. Andy King in possession. Back over the centre line. It's a little skill that if you haven't played a lot of basketball, you tend to forget. Now Keith Connor in possession. Daley Thompson waiting for the quick ball. And again they're intercepted, this time by Mike Shannon. Brian Talbot brings it away. Brian Hooper going to him. Talbot back to Andy King. George Wood in possession. They're playing possession basketball, as they've been told by Steve Cinder. Keep it away, keep it cool, try the odd long shot, and you'll stay ahead. And the soccer players, Phil Dwyer, can't believe it. And the soccer players really getting it together, much cooler. Berwyn Price in possession, feeds to Brian Hooper. Keith Connor finds it. Now he goes for basket, but loses it again. It's the finding of space that the athletes can't do, and the soccer players are adapting to very much better. Possession basketball working. Keeping it nice and steady. Look at this. Oh, and then tries to run round Keith Connor, who holds him out. Now, Berwyn Price, Keith Connor, Brian Hooper, looking for basket. Daley Thompson calling for it. Looking for a shot at basket. Goes for a long one. Now, can he get a rebound? Keith Connor seemed to have it. And Mike Shannon. And the soccer players back in possession and cooling it down. Brian Talbot holding the ball. Bringing some sense of purpose to the game. David Peach, Mick Lyons, on again. All the time. Brian Talbot. Mike Shannon with a long shot, but he travelled before he shot. Now, athletes in possession, sideline. Now, Daley Thompson. Cuts in for basket. Brian Hooper loses possession. And it's a frustrated bunch of athletes at the moment. 4-0 to the soccer players. Daley Thompson with a shot at basket, surely. Goes off to the side. Good rebound from Berwyn Price. And he gets hacked down, and I think Berwyn will get free shots for that. And Geoffrey Capes is back on. Brian Hooper is off.
Can you... Okay.
Mike Shannon is off for the football team. And Gordon Hill is on. Berwyn goes for basket. Oh, it runs around the ring. 2 to come. And still no score. This time they can run in on the ball.
once it's touched the ring or the backboard. Last free shot.
Let's hit the ring.
Possession vital. And it's there. 1 point for the athletes against the 4 of the football players as Gordon Hill brings it away. Facing up. Capes goes to Mick Dwyer. David Peach in possession. Out again to Dwyer. They're keeping it between themselves, and wisely so. Now, Dwyer back. Daley Thompson leaps in for a touch, trying to make the break, and the athletes have to do the attacking. That's all they've got to do. Mick Dwyer. It runs around, running free.
Got 5 seconds. 1.
And it's the soccer player's ball. Gordon Hill passes it back, but not over the centre line. Now, into basket goes Phil Dwyer. Jeff Capes is now, good interception. David Peach robbed Keith Connor when he looked to be under basket and in a very good shooting position. And the soccer players bring it away again. Phil Dwyer under basket to Gordon Hill. He's leaned on a little bit by Jim Whitehead, but in fact he double dribbled before he got there. And away it comes. Capes in possession. Jim Whitehead calling for the ball. Capes still going for it. And he gets 2 points, and he's closed the gap to 4-3. From under basket, only 1 point in it. And now away comes Phil Dwyer, goes for basket. Jeffrey Capes retrieves. Long ball. Ooh. And he's hacked down. Phil Dwyer just caught his arm, and Jeffrey Capes was a mite displeased. Long ball goes for a high one. 15 seconds left. Time is running out. A travel, and it looks as though the sands of time have run out for the athletes, the football players, if they keep their cool and watch the clock. 5 seconds to go. Referee's eye is on it. David Andy King goes away, and that's it. The soccer players win 4 points to 3. And what a game. There weren't many baskets, but there were many incidents.
What was the real secret? Teamwork? It was teamwork, and we've got a good friend, a coach there, who really cheered us on and told us to just get on with it. Our fitness proved better than this.
Yeah, a better ball sense altogether, much better.
Tell us truthfully, did you think they'd pick it up as quickly as that?
Well, yes, I did, because I thought they had better ball sense all around the court, and that's exactly what they did. They were much more sort of aware than all the rest of the other.
We decided to keep our eye centres low and our crosses up the wing, you know. So we had no shots. I mean, it worked great for us in there.
It was, Mick, seriously. I mean, it was a question of finding space too, which we're used to doing every Saturday afternoon.
That's right. I mean, we didn't really know, but we knew we had a great chance, you know. I mean, I thought Jeff Capes had boxing gloves on it first half, you know. So that it worked out great for us in the end. Magic.
You didn't live up to the sort of play that you'd shown in warm-up.
That's true, but I think, Ron, none of us, the footballers and us, were all inexperienced at basketball, and it was bound to degenerate into a sort of fracas if the refs weren't prepared to get control. They weren't. They let anything go. People were jumping on top of each other, and it just made it into a rugby match.
Yeah. Brian, disappointed?
Yes, very wrong. We're really behind it for tomorrow's events now.
Yeah.
2-1 down.
Yeah.
Makes it very, very difficult for us.
Alan?
Yeah. Certainly puts the pressure on for us tomorrow. It's a pity, really.
But why, I mean, they certainly adapted to the... I mean, none of you play basketball regularly, but they found spaces where you were getting into tight situations, don't you think?
Too many systems, Ron. Too many experts dictating various plays and all the rest of it.
All Chiefs and not enough Indians?
There's too many people trying to set up play, but unfortunately it wasn't the same kind of play. We're all working at cross purposes, I think.
Yeah. Bedouin, just towards the end there, there was a sign that you were getting the game together. Might have pulled it out.
I think we'd learned by then we had to calm down a bit and try and cool it down and play basketball properly rather than just chasing around like idiots. And unfortunately, we were just a little bit too late.
Well, you was disappointed in the way you played as you were in the result.
I think so. I think we didn't get anywhere near what the performance we could have put in there.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's the way it is.
You've got a lot to do now, haven't you?
Certainly have indeed. Yeah.
Okay. Well done.
Cheers.
Well, the footballers really on a high with the help of Steve Asinda, that basketball player who we shall see in Superstars later in the year.
Right then, next the canoeing, and for that we've come down to Fairthorne Manor. That's the National YMCA Centre. It's about, 5 or 6 miles from the Eastleigh Sports Centre. There's 4 men in each team. We're using Canadian canoes. That means they adopt a kneeling position. Now they're going to paddle 125 metres up to a buoy, hopefully go round it, and then come back to the finish.
So much resting on these four athletes: Connor, Hooper, Williams and Thompson. The choice for the canoeing. Remember, the footballers have won 4 out of the 5 events, leaving the athletes so much to do on this second day. Just 3 events left. You heard them say they were all chiefs and no Indians in the basketball. And they don't exactly look a model of organisation here. And understandably, Captain Jeff Capes, the non-paddling captain, not too confident.
Well, let's face it, I mean,
They've gone from bank to bank so far.
Each athlete is most coordinated in their own events, and when you select a team, you think, oh, crikey, you know, I mean, you get Daly.
They've got to be the
pole
vaulters.
You know, and I mean, look at them. I mean, they're like fish out of water. It's really embarrassing.
Hey, we need this, man. We need
I know, but I hope they get it together in the actual race. I think the problem is seasick.
What about the opposing captain, Mick Lyons, and his team of footballers?
What we do, basically, we just want the backman to do the steering. We think that this is the most important thing for us to do. And we're happy with George because he gives us our strength. And now we're debating whether to get someone equally as strong as him to, you know, counteract it the other side.
But it's coming up decision time, isn't it?
Yeah, they're all reluctant to get out the boat.
So what have you decided? Is this the fall?
It's the baseball who jumped in. And we think that instead of chopping and changing all the time, the longer we can keep them in the boat and keep them practicing, the better chance we've got.
Good. Well, let's hope you made the right choice.
Well, I don't think so at the moment, but you never know.
There's the choice, just paddling out to the right in that football Canadian canoe. And it's Peach, Talbot, Big George Wood and Mike Shannon at the back. Remember, if they win this canoe event for the footballers, the soccer players can't lose this Super Team Challenge. 125 metres each way up to the top, turn around. Quite a fast flowing piece of river. The tide's coming in, but they're all set. Well, almost. Athletes nearest us in blue, looking very apprehensive. 2 pole vaulters in the middle.
Up blue. Stand by.
And they're away, and who's going to get the rhythm first? Because that's what it's all about, getting all the effort from 4 paddlers right together. And it's the athletes who've gone out in the lead, and the footballers not really moving at all. That encouragement coming from Jeff Capes on the shore, and look at Keith Connor really struggling out, but the footballers moving from side to side. They haven't got this straight line through the water yet. Daly Thompson doing a little bit of correction, so is Alan Williams. Keith Connor at the front, really determined, gritting his teeth. They desperately want this. They've been upset about some of the other decisions, some of the other results as they come to the turn. And the athletes going nicely out. They have to turn anti-clockwise. They're going out to the right to negotiate the buoy, and they're about a couple of lengths up at the moment on the footballers. And they're looking worried. George Wood looking across to the shore to see what Mick Lyons is shouting at him. The athletes turning nicely. Oh, the footballers have overshot the buoy. They've gone the wrong side. They're going to have to find a reverse gear, get around it somehow. And the athletes have looked across their shoulders. They've seen the trouble they're in, and they're coming around nicely. Look at this. The footballers still not turned, and the athletes on the way home. Brian Hooper still shouting. Looks left and right. And suddenly the smiles that the footballers had have turned to frowns, and they're going to lose it. Unless the athlete's boat sinks, and that's unlikely. And Keith Connor starts to smile. Brian Hooper smiles. Alan Williams, Daly Thompson, the line is in sight, and they're going to take it. They're right back in business in the Super Teams. Just look at Thompson rowing the air instead of the water. It doesn't matter, he said. We'll coast him. And up goes the battle of Keith Connor. Wait for the gun. And they've won it. The athletes win the canoeing against all the odds. The footballers look very dejected indeed. Never got it right. And just look at those smiles. Nobody more pleased than Captain Capes.
Come here, I want to kiss you.
Fantastic. Go in now. All right. Well done, well done, well done. Oh, steady. Steady, you handsome quartet. Well done, Dales. Well done. Well done.
Now, does that not make you feel just a little bit better?
Yeah, it certainly does. Yeah. Some consolation.
Does this mean we're back in there with a chance?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Reckon?
If they wore feathers, they might have gone better.
Right.
So damn ugly, that's the problem. Personally, we was never out of it.
Obstacles next?
Yeah.
No problem?
What obstacles?
Suddenly all the obstacles disappear because the scoreline looks much healthier from the athlete's point of view. Only 4 points in it. Remember, the footballers got that score by winning the swimming. They took their form event, the table tennis, then really the gamble event, the crossbow, and the big upset in the basketball. The athletes were just the cycling and the canoeing. It can't be a tie because the last event, the tug of war, is a tiebreaker.
Now for the obstacle team relay, and I think by now you'll recognise the apparatus. Over the box and the horse, and then the arm travel on the parallel bars. They've got to scale this wall and their long jump. Incidentally, if they don't make the long jump, there's a 5-second penalty pause, so watch out for that. And then the squat thrusts on the gym bench, onto the balance beam, turn 360 degrees. If they fall off, they have to come back and start again. And then the sit-ups. And they do this as a relay, and it should really lend itself to the athletes. Remember, we've got 2 international pole vaulters going, Brian Hooper and Alan Williams.
But Brian Hooper has put the bar at 5 metres 26 centimetres, 17 feet 3, a new United Kingdom record height. This is his final attempt. Yes! UK record for Hooper, yet again. Alan Williams cleared 490, 16 feet 1 at his first attempt. Took an earlier vault at 470. Oh, and he's there. He's clear. That's 5 metres for Alan Williams, 16 feet 4 3/4.
However, having seen the soccer players warm up, remember they live on their feet. Their balance is superb and they look very good. And what's more, the tension is terrific and the athletes have to win this just to stand a chance of the whole competition.
And Phil Dwyer comes on. Actually, he's a last-minute replacement for Gordon Hill, who was injured. And it's he that has to line up against Daley Thompson, who looked first class in practice. So the athletes' confidence growing just a little bit. And they hope for a big lead out of Daley Thompson.
On your mark.
I will. I'll be standing here.
Set.
No, I've been told I've got...
Thompson away. Oh, and he flies. He doesn't even touch the box. Onto his arms, doesn't bend them, and already there's a big gap opening up. Phil Dwyer doing well, running courageously, but look at this talented athlete move. The astride jumps on the bench, 15 of those, and they've got to satisfy the judges.
8, 9,
and Essex Beagles leading
12,
Cardiff
13,
City.
14, 15, 11.
Onto that 4-inch beam. No problems for Daley. Flows onto it and around it. Now the sit-ups, 15 of those as well. And this is a big lead he's giving the athletes.
7, 8, 9, 10.
He's 10 sit-ups ahead.
1, 2, 3.
Phil Dwyer pumping away, but this is a long lead from Daley Thompson as he hands over to Brian Hooper of Woking Athletic Club. Going well on the sit-ups.
14, 6, 15, 7.
It'll be Mick Lyons to follow.
10, 11,
Just starting now, but the athletes have the lead that they wanted. And surely their confidence must grow now.
2.
But Hooper's off the beat. Oh, and he's off again, and precious seconds ticking away. Oh, and this is worse than Lynn Davis in the European Superstars final last year. A disaster, a total disaster for Brian Hooper, and he's been overtaken by Mick Lyons. And Geoffrey Capes cannot watch. And Mick Lyons has just fallen off, otherwise the footballers would have had a very big lead.
2,
And
3,
Brian
4,
Hooper will have this
6,
recurring
7,
nightmare
8,
again and again,
9,
especially when he gets back to school and his kids remind him of it.
14,
6,
15,
7,
go.
8, 9,
Off he
10,
goes.
11, 12.
The long jump,
13,
okay.
14, 15.
And relief at last for Brian Hooper. The arm travel shouldn't be a problem for him. Over the horse, over the box, and on to Alan Williams, the Cambridge Harrier. And the pole vaulters will pull Brian Hooper's leg about that. back into a comfortable lead, but he's being chased. Gary Owen's having a good one on the far side. He really is flying. Now the astride jumps. Oh, and he's fallen over, and he's been docked a couple, so the gap has narrowed again. Gary Owen on the bench. He's done very well.
13, 14, 15,
15 done. Now that balance beam. Gary Owen. Owen off again. Alan Williams, a disaster, and back go the soccer players into the lead. Once only, no. Now the sit-ups.
7, 8,
and Gary Owen
9,
has really made up
10,
an enormous
11,
amount of ground.
12, 13, 14.
Capes can't watch, Daley Thompson can't watch, and he's clipped his leg as he fell off. Oh, and he cannot get to the line. Agony for him, and George Wood's on his way, and the athletes have got a lot of ground to make up with Keith Connor. But Keith Connor pumping away.
4, 5,
he's
6,
going the faster.
7, 8, 9.
He's closing up
10,
on George Wood.
11, 12, 13.
He really has gone, look at that, remarkably fast on the sit-ups.
15.
And he's only going to be a fraction behind. On to the beam. Oh, and George Wood has come off. This 4-inch balance beam that Olga Corbett made a stage has been a disastrous area for footballers and athletes alike.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Connor flying now. Quick feet.
15. 11, 12.
Now the lead. No problem for him, surely. On the climb. Brian Hooper walking along the course, and salvation at last for the athletes. In the end, they're going to be a few seconds ahead, but they so nearly lost it on so many occasions. What a battle. A tremendous race.
Well.
Never mind.
Hey, what happened there,
Tough on
man?
those sit-ups, weren't they? I must have done about 30.
Listen, you must have
That wouldn't let
died
me do
a death.
18. Yeah.
Keith, well done.
I certainly came close.
But have you ever seen such tension in a novelty event in your life?
No.
That was fantastic.
It's really exciting, that was.
Really good stuff, yeah.
Hey, Brian.
Oh, don't tell me, Ron, I died. It was awful.
You must have died a death.
You know, yesterday I whacked my knee really badly on the box in practice, and I could hardly bend it.
He gives you a mild start. You must. What were you thinking when you were hovering on that beam?
I don't even want to remember. It was awful. I was just hoping that next time I fell, there was a hole for me to vanish into.
But you wouldn't use your hands to get on. You wanted to go back and keep jumping. I mean, you could have just jumped on.
I could have done, yeah.
Hey, great team competition.
Really good.
Well, the footballers lost, Gary, but that was a brilliant run that you made.
It was a case of last-ditch effort, I think, because Alan had got the lead on me, and I thought I've got to go full out. I just flung myself over the high fence or what have you, and just pushed myself to the limit. And when I got to the end where the sit-ups was, I did the sit-ups, and as I got to get up, the back of the knee just twisted a little bit. As I tried to get, I think I turned myself inside out trying to get up, and I just couldn't get up on the left leg.
Obviously now, though, you've got to do something in the tug-of-war.
The athletes, they're quietly confident about winning the tug-of-war, but I think we'll give them a surprise.
But no bigger surprise than that scoreline after what had happened on the first day. So one event to decide this Ferguson Superteams competition, and it's the strongman event, the tug-of-war. Jeff Capes, naturally the anchorman for the athletes. 3 pulls, 1 point each. The athletes need all 3 pulls. The footballers already psyching Capes up yet again. They need just 1 pull. There's a weight limit. The athletes are up to weight with 7 men.
Are you ready?
Fed Radford gets them ready. The footballers, full of injuries, can only muster 7. They could have put 8 men in to make up the weight, but they can only muster 7. Gordon Hill out of the competition. Injured himself in that preparation for the obstacle, injured also in the training for the tug-of-war.
Steady! Pow!
And away they go. A 4-meter pull. And it's all about leg power, digging in the feet, pushing with the legs, not just pulling with the arms, it's the push up from the legs, the lean back. And the athletes going well on this first one. Capes is right into the crowd already. They're over the line. Oh, and yes, he said, do I have to pull the footballers and push the crowd as well? So they'll move the crowd back, I'm sure. And the footballers feeling it on the hands, just a little bit. So the athletes have one pull in the bag. 2 to go. Remember, they've got to win them all. George Wood, the anchor man for the footballers. Gordon Hill acting as coach, trying to give them some little bit of encouragement, some advice, and they need it against this heavier team of athletes. All this to settle the championship after 2 days. Pull 2.
Stood. This time, give rope.
Steady. Pull.
Oh, and this is better from the footballers. They're a little bit ragged. They're not getting the rhythm, but they're beginning to pull the athletes very slightly. And Jeff Capes even has to stand up. Whitehead just in front of him, but now they've got it back together. That's a good position from the footballers, but have they got the leg power? But they're beginning to give just a little, but nothing much in it. And the athletes are going now. There they go. 1, 2, and down with the footballers. As soon as you're down. Oh, and that's a bad fall. A bad fall from George Wood. Nearly got the rope around his neck. He'd have more reason to protest than Capes, but I think he's all right. Yes, he's okay. There are a few who afford a minute to do to smile, but there's certainly no smiles on the face of Jeff Capes.
It's just got to be. You know, we had to do it. You know, it's one of the hardest events there is, you know.
Was the whole competition hard in your thought?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I think
We
so.
thought it might be a bit of fun to start with, and I think, quite honestly, so did everybody else.
Well, let's face it, we're all competitors. Even whether you're a team of footballers or individuals in athletics, you are there because you're the best. And to be the best, you've got to be the hell of a competitor. And it comes out even verbally or anyhow. You just got to let it out. You know?
Capes producing the words as well as the action, and the 7 footballers really up against him. Remember, they couldn't use Gary Owen either because of injury, but they've been having a bit of a conference, and I think a surprise move in store.
You're in, Gordon, I gather.
Yeah, we've taken the wind out. We hope we've played the last card. We hope that we're just gonna.
You're a joker.
We're gonna. It's a joker.
You're playing the joker.
I'm playing the joker.
I think that's another sport, but good luck.
Thanks very much.
So Gordon Hill comes into the team. Some people don't think that should be allowed, but referee Clive Thomas says yes, it is. They're only still up to weight limit, so they've brought in the man who was injured, Gordon Hill. And so it's now 8 footballers versus 7 athletes for the final pull. Whoever wins this wins the Super Teams. And away they go, and how much difference is that extra man going to make on the footballing side? A little bit of raggedness in the middle of the athletes team, the footballers holding. 4 meters, remember, they have to pull. Athletes. Capes and Whitehead trying to put on the power, and look at the determination on Capes' face. This means so much to him. The footballer's not giving it. But they've had to give, and there they are. The athletes have won all 3 pulls. That was the tiebreaker, and they are the Super Team champions. But my goodness, they had to fight.
What a couple of days, Jeff.
I got cramp in my leg and I said, no, I ain't going. I know how the runners feel when they just take a dive. It just knotted up. I said, no way, mate.
Hey, that began to look a bit like the Olympic Games, didn't it? What a bit of tension there.
Well, that extra man on there after 2 pulls obviously did tell, because probably psychologically we got felt that used to that weight, and then he had another 130 pounds of pulling power. It's another game.
That is really hard.
That is hard, doesn't it? It makes you realise what these other guys do in their sports, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, yeah.
Really?
They were really strong, really strong.
Jim, not a bad couple of days of competition, was it?
No, very interesting, very good for the TV. All credit to the footballers in the last pull. They made it really hard. Yeah. Impressed with the strength. As a thrower, they impressed me. Had to really work for it.
Well, there has to be a loser, of course, but very brave losers, the footballers, Mick Lance.
Oh well, in the end it was end of 4 games each, but the took was 3 points. 3 points, and we got none for losing, and that was basically the difference, wasn't it?
And that is all the lads looking at their hands. Let's have a quick look at yours.
It's just the stuff we put on it, you know. But it helps us a bit. I don't think it helped us much then.
Now, perhaps the most competitive member of the team, Mick Shannon. What do you feel about that?
Well, it's a moral victory for us, I feel, you know. No, it was very hard. They were great in all the strength sports, you know. And I thought that, you know, I mean, it worked out as we wanted, really. We won the games that we thought we could win. We were just hoping that we could nick one on the tug of war, but they had too much power for us.
Gordon?
I went in at the end to see if I could help out. We had them coming. We got 2 inches, but they went back 6. We were trying our hardest, and I think we've done very well. Just for us, it's 4-4. There's no way that they're better than us.
Penalty kicks now, then?
Penalty kicks 5-side. Have what you like. We'll take them on anything. We will. We're game.
Quite obviously, that final scoreline settles nothing at all from the footballers' point of view. As they said, 4 wins each, but it was the athletes who won that tiebreak of the tug of war to win the Super Teams by a point. So the trophy presented by Mr. Jim Ross, the sales director of Ferguson TV Audio and Video. And all credit to the athletes for that great second-day comeback when all seemed lost. Their athletics clubs now benefit by a total of £4,500. The professional footballers, well, they get £400 a man. And certainly it's a victory that meant so much to Jeff Capes. And perhaps his only regret at the end of the 2 days was that the bottle of victory champagne was only a Magnum.